And joining us now here on In the Circle, of course, she is the head coach at Iowa. Has been there since 2019. Before that, head coach at UCF. So be taking part of the Big Four Classic this weekend. I speak of Renee Gillispie joining us back here on In the Circle. How you doing?
Doing great. Doing great. Excited about the start of our fall season.
Well, let's talk about this tournament, the Big Four Classic, which obviously has Iowa, Iowa State, Northern Iowa hosting, of course, this year, and Drake. What is this like to be a part of this tournament? Because you've obviously grown up watching this, following this. It's been on for a little while, but now you've taken part the last few years. This is the first year back, obviously, since last year it didn't happen due to COVID. But what is it like? Because normally in a fall ball, you're playing, certain teams and get prepared. But here, this is kind of unique to get all the four Division I schools to play against each other for a weekend.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for us. We look forward to it every fall. Yeah, you're right. Most of the tournaments that we have in the fall, or games in the fall, are scrimmages. We usually bring in a lot of junior college teams and Division II programs to play. But this has given us an opportunity to play Division I competition in the fall, and we'll all see each other again in the spring. But it gives us a chance to play a lot of different players, a lot of different positions, and just kind of get a chance to see what everybody has and get a chance to see what we have. So yeah, it's been going on for quite a while. And you look at Rich. I coached with him at Illinois State way back when with Melinda Fisher, and Jamie and I go way back. We've known each other for probably about 30 years, and Ryan and I have done camps together at UNI when I was at Texas Tech. So it's neat to have the three of us, the four of us, all get together, but the other three teams get together and play this classic. It's really fun.
And I sense from talking to all of you, there's a pride there of representing the state, that you all have that in common, that yes, you're competing against each other and everything like that, but there's a pride and a passion of softball in the state, and that this tournament, a lot of families will get together. It's just kind of important to kind of show the bragging rights, but also from a pride standpoint in the state of Iowa for softball. It's a showcase.
Oh, you're absolutely right. All four of us are really big on trying to keep Iowa kids in Iowa, and being able to have this classic, like you talk about, the Big Four. It is exciting to say that we're the Big Four in Iowa, and our parents all know each other. They've all played summer league together. A lot of them had played against each other in high school. So a lot of the parents have probably more fun having us all together and getting the chance to see their old teammates and see a lot of their old friends from high school come together in one spot. UNI is hosting it this year, and I think it's going to be a really good crowd.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool that you all two rotate as far as who's hosting, and I think it's going to be pretty exciting, especially after a year off. The atmosphere will be pretty fun there. Let's talk about a little bit about, this past season you had 26-18, fourth place finish in the Big Ten. It's the best finish Iowa softball's had in the Big Ten since 2012. Did you get a chance to reflect on the year? What comes to mind when what you accomplished last season? An incredible year with adversity, playing a conference-only schedule with protocols, and yet to have that high of a finish in the Big Ten there. A pretty remarkable step for this program that hadn't done that in a while.
Yeah, it was great to see the advancement that we did, even through COVID. We came out before COVID hit. We were 17-5 in the season going into our conference, and it was really tough having that break. I think everybody felt that, just that disappointment of not being able to finish your season. But then coming back and having a conference-only series last year, playing a 4-game series with everyone in our conference, that was a change, and that was difficult. But the players are very, versatile. They learned to adapt. They were able to understand the opportunities they have in front of them to be able to play conference games. Really thought we had a shot at going into NCAAs last year and didn't make that cut. And it just puts a little fire in their bellies right now to keep proving themselves and keep moving forward. And like you said, we finished our first year, we were 12th in the conference, and our players were excited about even making the conference tournament, to finishing 4th last year and not having a conference tournament. So we're looking forward to having a full season. You have to excuse my lights here, but we're excited about having a full season and being able to kind of showcase what we're about now and where we're going.
Well, you mentioned, this team, when you took over this program had been at the bottom of the Big Ten. And, and I remember when you came on board was one of the process would be learning how to win. Have you got a sense of that the last 2 years? I know disappointed you didn't make the tournament. There was, I think, some things beyond your control that kind of was the reason for that. The lack of, no non-conference schedule. I think if you had a normal season, you probably would have been in easily. But yet the fact that they were, learning how to win these games. I remember, just winning big series down the stretch at the end of the year, beating Illinois 3 out of 4. Even the year before, you were 20-5, as you mentioned, before the season came to shut down. Do you get a sense that the last 2 years has been huge from, hey, now they're starting to, they're learning how to win now. That's easier said than done. It takes a while, and now you could take those next steps.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's, Eric, it's been a challenge, and it's been fun. It's been fun to help them learn how to win, how to compete, be excited about being back in the top of the conference every year. When Gail Blevins was here, she had them rolling, going to World Series every year in the late 90s, early 2000s. And they were noted as being one of the top 10 teams in the country, and that has always been our goal and our expectation for the players coming in, is that they have to have that mentality of winning a World Series. Why else are we playing? This is our ultimate goal. So to help them get there and to see these girls buy into it and fight to earn that respect again has been a joy as a coach to watch. And we're getting better recruits. That's a big thing too, is, we have to figure out what kind of recruits can we bring in that can help us get there. And we've been very fortunate. If you look at our squad coming in this year, we have a lot of Midwest kids. We've got Nebraska and Missouri and Kansas, and a lot from Iowa, a few from Illinois, a few from Indiana, and we're really focusing on getting quality Midwest kids that can help us get back to the World Series.
I sense the pride too in the fan base. Your place was a great atmosphere towards the end there, second half of the home slate. People were really behind this team. And the players fed off of that, because I remember I would ask the players at the post game about that, and they sensed that. Did you sense that? The fan base kind of there, seeing the turnaround, seeing the growth, and getting behind the program and getting behind the players.
Absolutely. You give me goosebumps right now, because I love our fans. They are so supportive. And when we have dads buying, striped coveralls and standing at the top of the stands, cheering them on, we have parents getting in the front of the stands and leading cheers during the game. They're very involved with our sport. And I love that. I love the fans that come out and understand how important their voice is out there for our players. And they were feeding off that. Our players are feeding off that every single game. And you look at, you talk about the end of the season, we had some big wins towards the end of the season, and you talk about being the competitive nature and teaching how to compete. There was not one game that our players laid down on. Like, they were in every single game. They knew that they had to finish strong. They knew what was in front of them and what they had to do. And they definitely learned how to compete in last season's schedule.
You beat Illinois 3 out of 4, as I mentioned. You beat Northwestern down the stretch. You beat Minnesota down the stretch. I know you thought you should have been in the tournament. You felt like you were in the mix to make the tournament. I know that was the message you told your players going into that Illinois series. Hey, treat this like we got to win this series to make the tournament. You didn't make the tournament. But is there positives that come from that? The fact that, the players maybe felt disappointed they didn't make the tournament and have that chip moving forward, that say, hey, we're that close here. We could have, maybe if we win a couple games differently earlier in the year, maybe we are in the tournament and we're not as far away as maybe we, a couple years back.
Yeah, you're right. They understand that I don't want to say devastation, but it was devastating for them not making it in the tournament. And we know we didn't have any body of work behind us, and that's a big piece of making it to postseason. You look at the last 8 years here; it's been a struggle to even get recognized in the postseason. So it wasn't a surprise for me. I think that I knew our chances were pretty slim on being able to get in, but we also knew that last series was going to be a key for us making that step. And they stepped up for that. It was exciting to watch them compete and go after it and wanting it. And we had a bump in the road on that Saturday game. We lost that Saturday game, and I think that could have been a difference on how we finished also. But you're right, they're focused now. That devastation or that sick feeling they had of not making it. It's really, get it going again. It's really helping them get a chance to focus on where they need to be and what they need to do. And if you look them in the weight room, you look at how they're working out and how they're focusing on this season. they're ready. They're hungry, and you know that they're going to have that coming into this season.
You look at this year's roster in the fall, young roster. We got 12 freshmen on the roster. Obviously, the question you're going to get asked a lot between now and February is your pitching, young pitching coming. Obviously, Allison Ducey leaving a great legacy. All-region player for Iowa, the first all-region Iowa player. It's a crazy stat. She's the first all-region player at Iowa since Megan Blank at 2014. When I saw that, that blew my mind away. But credit to her and helping you, right? Like, you inherited her, and she kind of helped you kind of get to that point of turning this program a little bit around and learning how to win. And it's another all-region pitcher in your resume there.
Yeah, she did such a wonderful job for us, and that was hard to see her go, but we got an extra year out of her, which was nice, and she really made the most of that last year. Also losing Shaw and Sarah, they all three of them were the dynamic trio that we had last year. So we are young, but it's also exciting in that fact. We got transfer Bree Vesquez that came in from UCF. She's lights out right now. She's doing a great job for us. And then we got a couple of freshmen, Kat Cerna, that's really stepping up. Seeing a lot of good things from her. And we've been scrimmaging, had a couple of scrimmages already, and those two are really stepping up and doing a lot for us. And then behind them, you got Denali, who really, she was a pitcher last year that we didn't need her. She played first base most of the season. Now she's coming back onto the mound and giving us some innings on the mound. And then Emma Henderson, she's twins with Anna, one of our catchers, and Emma's stepping up. You're starting to see some really good things from her. So I think we'll be solid. We've got the depth that we need. Like you said, we've got 8 pitchers right now that any one of them at any time can come in. But I think those 4 right now are really seeing a lot of innings for us.
You mentioned Bree. You obviously know her well. You recruited her while you were at the head coach at UCF. Obviously, she entered the portal. She was available. Talk about being that familiar with her and what she brings to this team. She brings experience, innings. She was an all-region pitcher in 19 and has that experience that could help some of the freshmen on the staff.
Yeah, she does. We were so thrilled to get her back. It was hard leaving. And she came in that freshman year that I left to come to Iowa, and that was hard. And we were just so fortunate that when she decided to leave, she gave us an opportunity to bring her up here and visit campus. And California girl coming up into the snow country, sometimes it's tough, but she's given us this opportunity and she's given us that experience that we need. She knew coming in that she was going to be in a leadership role very quickly as an upperclassman pitcher. And she's taken that role and running with it. She's really supporting with the freshman pitchers and helping them out along the way. And I think that the team is rallying behind her right now. We see in our scrimmages, they love having her out there. They know that she's going to take care of business. And seeing what she did at UCF, seeing some of the big wins she had against Florida, she's very capable of coming in and winning some big games for us.
You mentioned obviously Kat Cerna and some of the other freshman pitchers that you mentioned. Do you see a pitcher in that group that could be like a Mackenzie Otis was for you at UCF, who walked in as a freshman and really kind of took notice, kind of had a monster year, stepped up right away and contributed big time in wins? Or do you think this is more of a committee type of deal where it'll play itself out, but all of them are going to kind of chip in here and get that experience together?
Yeah, I think Kat Cerna has that capabilities. I think that between her and Bree can take a lot of the games for us. And I think Denali and Emma will definitely by committee being able to throw some innings for us. And who knows? I mean, with them being so young right now and just going through the fall, we've got 5 months before we have to put them on the field to see what they can do. That's a long time to get them ready. We may have 4 very strong arms by that time, but I would say you're right. I think Kat may be that one that was a little bit like Otis is stepping up and winning some games.
Well, and that's kind of a fact. How do you handle a young pitching staff? Because you've kind of had them all. Like Mackenzie right away was like it contributed, was an all-conference player, 20-plus wins, all-region player. But then you had someone like Shelby, which it took her a year to kind of figure things out, a year or so too. Allison kind of had a year where she had, took her a year before she blossomed or two. So just talk about that process of having a young pitching staff and that patience, because not everybody is the same. Some might be ahead of others, some might take a while. So talk about the patience and the process of handling a young staff.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it just takes time. What I find in most pitchers, young pitchers, when they come in, it's not so much of their capabilities of throwing, it's their confidence of throwing. It's being able to put them in a game situation, have the confidence to go after each batter, staying in that moment, staying on that pitch. And when they can get to that point of understanding this pitch by pitch, and that's all they have to worry about, then they become great pitchers. But it usually is that freshman year is just getting their feet wet and figuring out that they are capable of doing more than they thought they could.
Coach Dillinger, talk about the impact he's had on the staff, because you brought him in. He coached you obviously when you're in at Iowa and Dansville there growing up, but he's obviously had a big impact on this pitching staff as well. The two of you working together, I've seen that in the broadcast where he would be talking to the pitcher and allows you to handle some things sometimes. Just talk about that dynamic and how it's been going, because obviously it's been successful. I mean, you've had arguably a top 2, top 3 pitching staff in the Big Ten, among the top pitching staffs in the country from an ERA standpoint, especially the last 2 years.
Yeah, he's been a godsend. It's been so nice to be able to have him in the bullpen with the pitchers. I'll come out and I'll work with him a little bit with Rick. We'll work on some ideas and maybe adjustments that we need to do with each of the pitchers. But he is there 24/7 with those pitchers. He knows them inside and out. I trust him with everything that I have, knowing that he's going to get them ready. And you saw those in the last 2 years of how he's improved. Sarah came out and was pitching even better. Lauren came back, was healthy, and was able to throw for us. And so he's there for them 24/7. And that's what I needed. As a head coach, sometimes it's hard to do just the pitching because you're in the bullpen majority of the time. And now with, basically 8 pitchers right now, I had to have that. He's there and able to get them ready and prepared. He calls the games for us and does a fantastic job of calling the games. And he really prepares the players to be ready to take the helm. They understand that it's their responsibility, balls in their hand, and they're able to dictate what happens in that game. And so he's done a fantastic job. I could not have done this without him.
Offensively, you're led by Denali Lecker. Lecker was the second team All Big Ten. You mentioned her earlier as a pitcher, but she obviously led you in every significant offensive category: batting average, homers, RBIs.
Yeah.
Describe her. That was just her freshman year. What's the ceiling for her offensively? And will you use her as a two-way player?
Yeah, I think as Denali, she is so strong offensively, and we played her a lot at first base this past year. But she's coming around as pitching. She worked really hard this summer on working on a couple pitches we asked her to work on, and came back, and she's looking strong right now. I see her being a big piece on the mound, and being able to have a bat with her also while she's pitching allows us to put in another hitter into another position. So I think what she's going to give us is, like you said, very versatile in what she can do for us. But she'll be in the lineup somewhere with that bat. She'll be in the lineup somewhere.
Well, that's going to give you some versatility. I mean, this from years going up against Coach Erickson at South Florida. He would have those moments where we would have a pitcher and then move that pitcher to another position just so he can bring in a reliever and then keep the pitcher in the game. And so do you take a page out of Coach Erickson? Could we see some kind of maneuvering there where you bring in Denali to pitch, but yet keep her in the game or keep the other pitchers in? I mean, you could kind of, it gives you a lot of kind of some different options here that you normally wouldn't have.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about that option of being able to keep her in the game and keep her at first base and bring her back in if we need to. Yeah, she's going to definitely be that key role player for us to be in the game, for whether she's at first or whether she's on the mound. She'll be in there somewhere.
Briley Clusterman is the other one who's all freshman, hit .316, be entering now, I think, her sophomore year. What does she bring to the table there? She had some clutch hits for you down the stretch.
Yeah, she's just, as a freshman, she just stepped up. It was so fun to watch. Here's a local kid from North Liberty and came in and she earned that spot right away. Went from, a 9-hitter to a leadoff hitter for us and was so strong in that leadoff position. I see her just getting stronger every day. She's a bulldog kind of kid. Like she's going to literally run through walls for you. In the outfield, she doesn't have a stop mechanism. She's just go 100% of the time. And being able to see her as a true lefty. Yeah, you like my lights here. I know I love being the
Right.
conservative with my lights.
Yeah.
But you see her being just that type of player that's going to get things done offensively. She's got the speed. She's got the ability to hit from the left side with power. She's had some home runs last year. She's just the kind of kid that she's going to be very dangerous in that one spot.
The thing that people kind of forget, you had a young offense.
Yeah.
Players like Carter and Burns, among others, kind of returned. Are still young and developing. Just talk about players like Carter and Burns and some of the other returners on offense that are, you're hoping to take that next step.
Yeah, with Nia and Kalena, they talk about Carter and Burns. They came in as freshmen and lit it up. They were our top hitters in the lineup of freshman year. Then sophomore year kind of hits. You're not getting the hits that you want. You're not getting the pitches that you want or that you got your freshman year. So we're really looking at them stepping up this year as a junior and being able to get back in that role that they had as that lead position. Kalena, DP spot, first base, she's going to be locking into one of those positions. And then Nia with her bat, she'll probably be looking at right field again this year. But Nia has a lot of versatility too. Like even though she's an outfielder, she's got a lot of speed. She hits from left side. She can lay down the quick bunt. She's got the speed on the bases. So she's very versatile for us too. But we're looking for those two kind of really stepping up as juniors this year. And like you said, we're young. He's going to be a senior this year. She was one of our in the number 2 spot had a lot of big hits, a lot of big RBIs for us. And so those are really the upperclassmen that you're looking at right now. Everybody else that we talking about is going to be sophomores and freshmen, and you're going to look at a very young team again this year.
That's wild. That's kind of wild there. Behind the plate, you have Marissa Peak, and that's important because I don't know if people realize, but last season you were among the best in the country and the best in the Big Ten in throwing out base runners from your catching position, which is part of your defense there and helping your pitchers and eliminating base runners. Peak was a big part of that. I think she threw out like 8 base runners, among the best in the Big Ten. You're among the best in the country. Talk about what she brings to the table and how important that is, emphasizing the defensive side of the game to help your staff.
Yeah, Marissa is so solid behind the plate. She's so much fun to watch, and she's got a big stick for us too. She does a good job of working with the pitchers. She's very understanding of what each pitcher can do, and she's really good with working with them. We worked a lot this last year on her being a little more vocal behind the plate. She's definitely someone that is a leader by example, and we're trying to get a little bit more voice out of her, a little bit more direction for our defense. And I think once she gets that, she's gonna be tough to not have behind the plate. I just love having her because she's a kind of kid that's, again, a bulldog kind of kid. And she does a great job framing for the pitcher. She does a great job communicating. And I think she's going to be locking that position in too. Among
the new faces, who are some of the new faces you're intrigued to see in this fall? And do you think it could possibly contribute on the offensive end?
Yeah, I'd look at Tristan Doster talking about catching right now. She's done an incredible job during our scrimmages. She probably led our team yesterday in our scrimmage on hitting. She's finally kind of settling in on figuring out where she belongs and relaxing a little bit more. She was a little bit intense on the first couple of weeks, but so she's settling in, and I think she's going to see some time behind the plate too, as well as the bat. And she can play second base, she can play outfield. So if we need her bat, we'll be able to do some changes in defensively to be able to keep her in the lineup. So I'd be saying that she's one to definitely to watch. Of the other kids, you got Maris that came in, Morris that came in. We got Sophie from DMAC, and so Sophie Morris came in and she played shortstop, was an All-American. She was the top player in the country as a junior college player. We're lucky to get her in after 1 year, so we'll have 3 years with her, which is going to be exciting. And she plays everywhere. She's played short, third, and second for us in all these scrimmages. And she's got an incredible bat. Also, someone that's going to be very versatile to be able to find spots for and be able to put some more offense on us. So I'd keep an eye on her also. Looking across the board, Anna Henderson. Emma is one of our pitchers. We talked about her. Anna's got a big bat also. She can play right field. She also catches. We're looking to have her probably in one of those spots and DP in. We got a lot of depth, which is exciting. that's what's fun to see, that our offense is a lot more stronger. So we have a lot more depth in our offense. And then keep an eye on Riley Moss. She's a local kid, Muscatine. Get my lights back on. She's a Muscatine, Iowa kid, and she's been showing some great things at practices and in our scrimmages, and a lot of speed in the outfield. She ran down a ball yesterday that was like, I haven't seen someone make a catch like that in years. So she's got a lot of upside to her, both offensively and defensively. And then, looking across the board, Devin Greer, she's a pitcher that's coming in from California. She's kind of under the weather right now, but she's one that be looking for in the spring. And then Maggie Vasa, she's a Nebraska kid, played shortstop majority of the time, played shortstop, but also plays third, second base. And she's got a big stick. I'd say that probably Monday's practice, we probably saw more out of Tristan and Maggie offensively than anyone else. So it's going to be fun to see. We've got the depth again. We have the kids that are coming in and really fighting for a starting position. So I'd keep an eye on those guys.
Do you have the depth and the athletic ability that because that was always kind of a part of your teams at UCF and even at Texas Tech prior to that? You would have versatility and athleticism on your teams where you could take that extra base. You could be aggressive on the base pads. You could be moving pieces around. Do you feel you're getting, because this is kind of your first true class that you kind of recruited yourself. You inherited some of the recruiting classes prior and things like that. Do you feel that this is the first real athletic, most athletic team you've had here at Iowa this year? Are you kind of getting where you want to get to?
Yeah, you know me too well, Eric.
2 years I've known you.
I love running bases. I love the speed. So yeah, I think we have the speed. Finally, are getting the speed that we need. I don't think we're there yet. I think we're probably another year, 2 years away from really locking in everybody we need in those positions. But I think this is a great start. We have Ashley Clemens, that's our strength coach, and she's done an incredible job in the weight room of getting them to buy in and getting excited about getting stronger and faster. She's doing wonders with these players. We've only been, here 4 weeks, and you're already seeing huge growth in their strength and their speed. So I think she's a big key to us being successful. And then Jake, he's our trainer who's keeping them all healthy. So we're excited about having a great support staff that's there to keep us on the field and get us stronger. But you're right. I think the pieces are getting into place. I don't think we're there yet, but we definitely have a lot more power, a lot more speed than we've had in the past.
You're one of the first schools, if not the first school, to announce your season schedule, which I would imagine there's a message internally about that. It's basically we're ready to, get the players excited to play right away, get on the field. A challenging schedule. You're going to open in Leesburg, Florida, which you've gotten used to, kind of accustomed to, familiar with. You're going to play in San Diego, where you're going to be playing teams like South Dakota State with Krista Wood and the great team she's got over there, winning the Summit League, a fellow Iowan. DePaul, you're going to get to play in that tournament. You got Oregon State, Laura Berg and company. You play again in Leesburg in the late February. You're going to play in Memphis for a tournament. You're going to play in Lawrence, Kansas for a tournament. And you mentioned, of course, you're going to play the Iowa schools in the midweeks, as always. You got Drake and obviously in Iowa State at Northern Iowa. And, of course, the Big Ten schedule always is challenging. Just kind of your thoughts on the schedule behind it and, that's the thing. You'll have the luxury of a non-conference schedule this year, which you didn't have this past year.
Right. We are so excited about starting up a full season. And, it's funny, we put out our fall season and like a week later, we put out our spring season. And this is the first time we've had it out this early. We want our girls to get excited about it. I want our parents to be buying those tickets and getting to all the locations. The one tournament you didn't mention in there is that we're playing in Oklahoma, and that's our last weekend series before we start the Big Ten. And we'll be facing off with the number one team in the country, University of Oklahoma. And, we talked to our girls about, if you want to be the best, you got to play the best. And they understand that. So they're very excited about that opportunity of being able to be in that last game series before we start our Big Ten series.
That's right. How could I forget Norman, Oklahoma tournament? March, just throw it in there. But look, that's a great measuring stick. I mean, obviously, Coach Gasso, what they've done over there, that's a good for your team to see them that stadium and obviously play in that atmosphere. It's a great preparation for conference play. But you're right, you're not ducking anybody. That's clear.
No, they understand. Our players understand that this is the next step. We've been through a COVID year and played non-conference only, and we've been through a COVID year of playing conference only, and now it's time to take all of the straps off and all the chains off that we've had in the past, and let's go at it. Let's suit up and be ready to play anybody. So like I said, we're going to be young. We're going to be making those mistakes, but we're not going to do it without a lot of effort in the process.
You got extended through 2026 after the great season this past year. Coach Prater got promoted associate head coach. Just talk about that and the long-term commitment the school has to your staff, and that commitment that you all as a staff have, very united and really hooked in there for a while. And I think it's a loud message too to everybody that we're here to stay here and we're going to build this up. And you mentioned you're playing the Oklahomans. You're playing a national schedule. You're a national brand, and that's kind of one of the goals when you got there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I've got the best coaching staff in the country, and every head coach will say that, but I do. Like with Rick being with the pitchers and being just that solid father figure, disciplinarian. He takes care of that piece of it. With Trina being able to be associate head coach now and being able to take on a larger role for us. She's the one that keeps everybody in place and really focuses on making sure we're where we need to be. And then we have Erin that is alumni. So Erin came in, she actually got a full-time job at FedEx and comes in the afternoon. She works like from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. and still comes in and practices with our girls every day. Made our outfield just incredible change in our outfield in just 2 years on what she's done. But she's alum of Iowa. She was part of that World Series team back in 99 to 2001. She knows what it takes to get there, and she's got the fire and the understanding of what to do to get our players back to where they need to be. So the coaching staff wise is important, and our support staff, like we talk about. But it's our administration that has, like you said, they have our back. They want our successes. They're excited about where the players are going and what we're doing with the program. And to be able to get that extension was huge. But we're still focused on one day at a time. We're still focused on what we're doing today at practice and how we're getting better every day. And that's the message that we send to our players, is like, we can't get ahead of ourselves. We're going to plan and we're going to prep, but we can't get ahead of ourselves. We got to really be focused on what we're doing on every day. So that's where our focus is right now.
Let's talk about a couple of things. You're an Iowan for a long time, grew up there. What was it like to see Major League Baseball there at the Field of Dreams this summer with the White Sox and the Yankees? And you're a Cubs fan. They're going to be there next year in Iowa there against the Reds. You better try to get your tickets now. I heard it's big demand, but what was that like as an Iowa native?
It was, see that? Yeah. It was so exciting to watch that. I didn't get a chance to go there. The tickets it was like a lotto for the Iowans. They had to go into a lottery ticket to get it. Coach Heller, which is our baseball coach, got a chance to get some tickets from some of his friends and got a chance to be there. And he said it was incredible to be a part of that and to see the excitement of baseball being on those fields. And if you haven't seen the Field of Dreams movie, you got to watch it. Some of our players haven't even seen that movie yet. We're going to make sure that they watch it and we get them up there. We tried 2 years ago before COVID hit. We tried to get them up there to the Field of Dreams so we could play Upper Iowa on those fields. It didn't work out. We're still in that process of trying to get them up there to actually play on that field. But it's just the experience that you talk about and the nostalgia that you have with baseball and what that meant to be in Iowa on the Field of Dreams and be a part of that is just incredible. But yeah, he said you couldn't even describe it as when you sat there and watched them come out from the corn and see that not just the fans' expression, but the players feeling that energy when they're coming onto the field.
You kind of stole my question. So, because I was going to ask you from a softball, can we do a softball version of a Field of Dreams? But it sounds like you've already been thinking ahead of that. How would that happen? How would that work? What would it take?
Yeah, it's basically contracting the field out. It's usually open, so we could go out there and just have a pickup game with whoever's there. But we're really wanting to try to contract it to where we can have a game with Upper Iowa, take the players up there, play an actual game on that field. It wouldn't be so much of selling tickets to come watch. It'd be wide open for anyone who wanted to come. But I think it'd be a fun thing for them to see the movie and then be a part of that, and know that this happened in Iowa. Is this heaven? No, it's Iowa.
Wow. Would that be like would that take place in the fall? Would that take place at some point during the season? How would that work?
We were looking for a fall scrimmage.
Okay.
Do a fall scrimmage up there. Yeah. So it'd be free for everybody. We're still in the process. A lot of it is the contracting. It's
sure.
Very, very tough to contract up there. So a lot of that is just getting through some of that red tape to be able to get on the field.
That would be pretty cool.
Maybe we can convince the the Big Four to have our.
I was going to say, can we do the Big Four at the Field of Dreams? I mean, that's
we'll have to talk with the other coach and see if that's a possibility.
I can try to help set that up. I can talk to
all
of them, get you all together and I figure that out. Cause it was one of the most watched baseball games in a long time. And I've, the hype and the reaction to it was enormous, to the point where I think obviously it's going to be an annual thing now. I think baseball is going to do. I mentioned they already announced that the Cubs are going to play there next year. Kevin Costner is obviously benefiting from it, but still, that's a significant thing, and I think it represents the state of Iowa. Is the sense I got. There was a lot of pride, and that would be kind of cool if we could do something to that extent on the softball end.
Yeah, we definitely have to do it early enough in the fall before the corn starts turning brown.
Okay. All right.
We have a different feeling then, so we definitely have to do it early enough for that.
That's fair.
I'll have you start working on that now.
I listen. I could do a show from there. We can make something happen there. I want to ask you about.
What do you think?
Like it? You like it? You like that?
Good.
I want to ask you about a former player of yours, Natalie Land, who played for you at UCF from 2009 to 2012. She's going to be inducted into the UCF Athletics Hall of Fame on October the 8th. She'll be the third UCF softball player to get inducted, third straight. They start going in now that you left. I don't, Steph got in.
That's all right. Put him in.
Stephanie Best was the first, 2015. Allison Kimes, second in 2019. Now Natalie Land. Your reaction to that is somebody, I know you recruited Natalie, and and you're certainly excited for her.
Oh, I'm so excited for Natalie. She, when you talk about different players, Stephanie was one of my first players, just kind of starting the whole program, so she was the founding daughter of UCF softball, and to see her get in, and then with Allison getting in, definitely the wins that she had among all of the conferences that we played during that time. I can't remember where we USA, was it, Conference USA, you don't know anymore. The conferences are just kind of blending together.
Yeah.
And now they're Big 12, it's like, this is, so this is the fourth conference that we've been in at UCF, which is crazy. But to see that growth with our players and to know that Natalie was a part of that, she comes out of Jacksonville, Florida, and she was a fun player to watch. She had so much speed. She made plays at shortstop that most people could never imagine to make. Her versatility on how she played was incredible. And then being able to, the way that she hit, she was just a solid hitter, able to get on, a lot of speed on the bases. She was one of the fun players to watch. And so it's no surprise that she's getting into the Hall of Fame this year. Very deserving.
Unique because not only you were, recruiting her against other softball programs, especially Florida, but you were also recruiting against basketball programs. There was a lot of talk, obviously she's from Mayo, Florida. A lot of people thought she might end up in Florida either for softball or women's or basketball because she was a two-sport star athlete. That's a unique process because it's tough enough when you're recruiting against other softball programs, but now you're competing against basketball programs for somebody like her.
Yeah, she had so many offers out there. We're fortunate enough that we had a couple coaches that were very supportive of us, ASA coaches that were supportive. Jerry was with the Florida Storm program at the time when she was playing with them, and he was real supportive of what we were doing with the program. And so he helped her make that decision. She had a lot of offers out there that she knew that she was going to be a star at UCF. We knew that she was going to be able to do great things for us, winning conference championships for us. It was a great fit. I just felt like being from Little Mayo, Florida, and being able to come to UCF at 65,000 students, at UCF. That was a big move for her, and she fit right in and she took over. I'm just so proud of her. She used to have this joke that she said that mayonnaise was made in Mayo, Florida, and she had all the players believe in it. Like she she had everybody. That's just her personality. She's so fun loving and just a great person. But she had the entire team believing that mayonnaise was made at Mayo, Florida. Yeah.
I think I remember that story. I might have heard that during some of the bus trips on the road there a little bit. But she was a great representation on and off the field. I mean, scholar-wise, is as good as it gets academically. Honored there as well. And obviously her skills, as you mentioned, on the field, a leader there, the leadoff spot, can play second or short, win you games at either position. I've said, and I think Steph would not take would probably agree with this, from an all-around game infielder, I'm not sure UCF's ever had a better infielder from an offensive package and the defense combined. What she could do. She did some things on the field that was just I've never seen before, never seen since, with her athletic ability, right? Maybe the best athlete, pure athlete you've ever had at UCF there during your time there.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Stephanie Best was in that category too, but Natalie had that speed that was a burner. She can make things happen offensively, and she made a lot of incredible outs defensively. Just, I tell you what, if no one's seen her play, they need to put some clips out there, some highlight clips, because like I said, some of those plays that she made was nothing that you've seen. I mean, it's incredible what she's able to do.
No doubt. Awesome person too. So wish her congrats to her.
Yeah, she's physical therapy now.
In the Carolinas. Yeah, up in the Carolinas.
I'm very excited for her.
She's a mom, which, so she's doing her thing. I mean, she's
they all grow up. My little girls.
Don't remind me. Yeah, don't remind me. You don't want to be, it's wild. But good to her. Last thing, obviously, as you kind of continue through the fall, and then before you know it, you get to February, what are some of the keys between now and then for your team to accomplish your internal goals and the growth of this team? What are going to be some of the keys?
Wow. Definitely more depth in our pitching. I think we've got 2 solid right now, and I think we've got the capabilities of getting 4 solid pitchers out there. So we have to get stronger on our pitching side of it. I'd say defensively is just coming together as a team. I think we have a lot of talented players. We're just now learning how to play with each other and how much range each of us can cover. We're learning a lot from each other. And then I think offensively is just trusting in ourselves. I think we have the talent, we have the sticks. I think our youth is going to be the piece of the puzzle of just getting them confident on who cares, go up, hit the cover off the ball. That's just being confident enough to go up and do the job. And it's, like I said, it's little things, it's always about the little things of doing the little things right and being solid defensively, and then, understanding how to move runners and how to get runners on and doing the little things right. Yeah.
We look forward to not only seeing your team during the Big Four Classic, but the rest of the fall. And then before you know it, the season will be around the corner, and look forward to seeing what your team does. Head coach Renee Gillispie, an Iowa head coach, joining us here on In the Circle. Coach, always enjoy our traditional get-together. A little earlier than normal this year, but it's a cool cause because I'm really excited that the Big Four Classic is back, and I think the state of Iowa is excited about that and excited about Hawkeye softball once again. So good luck the rest of the fall, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate you covering our Big Four. We're really excited about this coming weekend. Thanks so much.